A haunted house. Whatever hour you woke there was a door shutting. From room to room they went, hand in hand, lifting here, opening there, making sure a ghostly couple. Here we left it, she said. And he added, oh, but here too. It's upstairs, she murmured. And in the garden, he whispered quietly, they said, or we shall wake them. But it wasn't that you woke us. Oh, no. They're looking for it, they're drawing the curtain, one might say, and so read on a page or two. Now they've found it, one would be certain, stopping the pencil on the margin. And then, tired of reading, one might rise and see for oneself, the house all empty, the doors standing open, only the wood pigeons bubbling with content and the hum of the threshing machine sounding from the farm. What did I come in here for? What did I want to find? My hands were empty. Perhaps it's upstairs then? The apples were in the loft. And so down again, the garden still as ever, only the book had slipped into the grass. But they had found it in the drawing room. Not that one could ever see them. The window panes reflected apples, reflected roses. All the leaves were green in the glass. If they moved in the drawing room, the apple only turned its yellow side. Yet, the moment after, if the door was opened, spread about the floor, hung upon the walls, pendant from the ceiling what? My hands were empty. The shadow of a thrush crossed the carpet. From the deepest wells of silence the wood pigeon drew its bubble of sound. Safe, 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 the pulse of the house beat softly. The treasure buried, the room. The pulse stopped short. Oh, was that the buried treasure? A moment later the light had faded. Out in the garden then? But the trees spun darkness for a wandering beam of sun. So fine, so rare, coolly sunk beneath the surface the beam I sought always burnt behind the glass. Death was the glass. Death was between us. Coming to the woman first, hundreds of years ago, leaving the house, sealing all the windows, the rooms were darkened. He left it, left her, went north, went east, saw the stars turned in the southern sky, sought the house, found it dropped beneath the downs. Safe, 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 the pulse of the house beat gladly. The treasure yours. The wind roars up the avenue. Trees stoop and bend this way and that. Moonbeams splash and spill wildly in the rain. But the beam of the lamp falls straight from the window. The candle burns stiff and still. Wandering through the house, opening the windows, whispering not to wake us, the ghostly couple seek their joy. Here we slept, she says. And he adds, kisses without number. Waking in the morning silver between the trees upstairs in the garden when summer came in winter snowtime the doors go shutting far in the distance, gently knocking like the pulse of a heart. Nearer they come, cease at the doorway. The wind falls, the rain slides silver down the glass. Our eyes darken, we hear no steps beside us, we see. No lady spread her ghostly cloak. His hands shield the lantern. Look, he breathes. Sound asleep. Love upon their lips. Stooping, holding their silver lamp above us, long they look and deeply. Long they pause. The wind drives straightly, the flame stoops slightly. Wild beams of moonlight cross both floor and wall, and, meeting, stain the faces bent. The faces pondering. The faces that search the sleepers and seek their hidden joy. Safe, 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 the heart of the house beats proudly. Long years he sighs. Again you found me. Here, she murmurs, sleeping, in the garden reading, laughing, rolling apples in the loft. Here we left our treasure stooping, their light lifts the lids upon my eyes. Safe, 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 the pulse of the house beats wildly. Waking, I cry, oh, is this your buried treasure? The light in the heart. Monday or Tuesday lazy and indifferent, shaking space easily from his wings, knowing his way, the heron passes over the church beneath the sky. White and distant, absorbed in itself, endlessly the sky covers and uncovers, moves and remains. A lake? Blot the shores of it out. A mountain? Oh, perfect the sun gold on its slopes. Down that falls. Ferns then, or white feathers, forever and ever desiring truth, awaiting it, laboriously distilling a few words, forever desiring. A cry starts to the left, another to the right. Wheels strike divergently. Omnibuses conglomerate in conflict. Forever desiring. The clock asseverates with 12 distinct strokes that it is midday. Light sheds gold scales. Children swarm, forever desiring truth. Red is the dome. Coins hang on the trees. Smoke trails from the chimneys. Bark, shout, cry iron for sale and truth. radiating to a point, men's feet and women's feet, black or gold encrusted, this foggy weather sugar? No, thank you, the commonwealth of the future. The firelight darting and making the room red, save for the black figures and their bright eyes, while outside a van discharges. Miss Thingamy drinks tea at her desk, and plate glass preserves fur coats flaunted, leaf light, drifting at corners, blown across the wheels, silver splashed, home or not home, gathered, scattered, squandered in separate scales, swept up, down, torn, sunk, assembled, and truth? Now to recollect by the fireside on the white square of marble. From ivory depths words rising shed their blackness, blossom and penetrate. Fall in the book, in the flame, in the smoke, in the momentary sparks are now voyaging, the marble square pendant, minarets beneath and the Indian seas, while space rushes blue and stars glint truth. Content with closeness? Lazy and indifferent the heron returns, the sky veils her stars, then bears them. An unwritten novel, such an expression of unhappiness was enough by itself to make one's eyes slide above the paper's edge to the poor woman's face, insignificant without that look, almost a symbol of human destiny with it. Life's what you see in people's eyes, life's what they learn, and having learnt it, never, though they seek to hide it, cease to be aware of what. That life's like that, it seems. 5 faces opposite 5 mature faces and the knowledge in each face. Strange, though, how people want to conceal it. Marks of reticence are on all those faces. Lips shut, eyes shaded, each one of the 5 doing something to hide or stultify his knowledge. One smokes, another reads, a third checks entries in a pocketbook, a fourth stares at the map of the line framed opposite, and the 5th, the terrible thing about the 5th is that she does nothing at all. She looks at life. Ah, but my poor, unfortunate woman, do play the game, do, for all our sakes, conceal it. As if she heard me, she looked up, shifted slightly in her seat and sighed. She seemed to apologize and at the same time to say to me, if only you knew. Then she looked at life again. But I do know, I answered silently, glancing at the Times for manners' sake. I know the whole business. Peace between Germany and the Allied powers was yesterday officially ushered in at Paris. Signor Nitti, the Italian Prime Minister. A passenger train at Doncaster was in collision with a goods train. We all know the Times knows, but we pretend we don't. My eyes had once more crept over the paper's rim. She shuddered, twitched her arm queerly to the middle of her back and shook her head. Again I dipped into my great reservoir of life. Take what you like, I continued, births, deaths, marriages, court circular, the habits of birds, Leonardo da Vinci, the Sandhills murder, high wages and the cost of living. Oh, take what you like, I repeated, it's all in the Times. Again with infinite weariness she moved her head from side to side until, like a top exhausted with spinning, it settled on her neck. The Times was no protection against such sorrow as hers. But other human beings forbade intercourse. The best thing to do against life was to fold the paper so that it made a perfect square, crisp, thick, impervious even to life. This done, I glanced up quickly, armed with a shield of my own. She pierced through my shield, she gazed into my eyes as if searching any sediment of courage at the depths of them and damping it to clay. Her twitch alone denied all hope, discounted all illusion. So we rattled through Surrey and across the border into Sussex. But with my eyes upon life I did not see that the other travellers had left, one by one, till, save for the man who read, we were alone together. Here was Three Bridges station. We drew slowly down the platform and stopped. Was he going to leave us? I prayed both ways. I prayed last that he might stay. At that instant he roused himself, crumpled his paper contemptuously, like a thing done with, burst open the door, and left us alone. The unhappy woman, leaning a little forward, palely and colorlessly addressed me, talked of stations and holidays, of brothers at Eastbourne, and the time of year, which was, I forget now, early or late. But at last, looking from the window and seeing, I knew, only life, she breathed, staying away. That's the drawback of it all. Now we approached the catastrophe. My sister-in-law, the bitterness of her tone was like lemon on cold steel, and speaking, not to me, but to herself, she muttered, nonsense, she would say that's what they all say, and while she spoke she fidgeted as though the skin on her back were as a plucked fowl's in a poulterer's shop window. Oh, that cow. She broke off nervously, as though the great wooden cow in the meadow had shocked her and saved her from some indiscretion. Then she shuddered, and then she made the awkward angular movement that I had seen before, as if, after the spasm, some spot between the shoulders burnt or itched. Then again she looked the most